Sheikh Turkey came to me and said, I really want you to promote Canelo versus Crawford. I'm like, okay. Trillions of dollars in revenue. Trillions. And at the end of the day, there's nothing there. If you want to be an let's do it in private and we can do an interview. I've done stadium shows with UFC out of the country before. I don't love them. And this is what I'm hoping.
I told you, motherfuckers. What did you just watch? I only speak the facts.
So I believe that the Ali Act should stay and should not be amended.
As the big event on September 13th reached its conclusion, shocking revelations have been made surrounding the match that has shaken the boxing world to its core, one of them being Dana White possibly backing off from his involvement in the boxing world. According to Dana, for a promoter to work in the American market, even for a sport such as boxing, which has been fizzling out over the years, is a tough job for anyone involved. Dana, while acknowledging that this fight had been an epic one for the audience to have witnessed, also accepted the fact that recreating such boxing matches again and again would prove impossible in America. Even for him.
Obviously, Canelo, Crawford.
It's another fight for me. It's another fight for me. Obviously, for this to be my first real boxing match with two real boxers that are, absolute legends in the sport. Yeah, it's awesome.
The challenge is obviously trying to recreate that regularly with other fighters connected. Whenever I come over to the States, I kind of get the feeling that maybe the audience is disengaged a little bit with boxing over the last 10 to 20 years.
100%. So, and it's what everybody says, whether it's the Eddie Hearns or the, Sheikh Turkey or any of them. America's a different market. It's a tough market to figure out. You know what I mean? It is definitely fizzled out over here over the last several years. So, listen, right now, again, nobody has a television deal.
Moreover, when asked whether he would like to continue promoting and producing fights like these, Dana White outrightly said no, claiming that he does not see high probabilities of it happening. According to Dana, boxing is the type of sport where you can earn trillions of dollars through the matches, but in the end, be left with no money, making the sport not that much advantageous in the revenue aspect.
Yeah. Can you see yourself doing more of these fights?
No, but it's probably it's highly likely. I have I'm going to launch something in 26. When you think about it right now, think about this, boys. Think about this. Wrap your head around this. Has there ever been a business or a sport that has generated trillions of dollars, maybe even more?
Yeah.
I don't know what's above trillion, but trillions of dollars, and at the end of the day, there's nothing there.
That is crazy.
That's the sport of boxing, right?
Furthermore, during the pre-fight press conference, Dana White got into a heated exchange with a reporter, Sean Zittel, who dared to call out the promoter for bringing out changes to the boxing world that could end up harming the boxers. In response to the reporter's question, Dana White cut him off and claimed that the conference was to ask questions to the fighters, not him, and dared the reporter to take an interview with him personally to sort it out all face-to-face.
So my question to you is, why then do you want to make sweeping changes to the Muhammad Ali Reform Act that is meant to protect fighters to bring about a business model that currently has your company already paid out $375 million in antitrust lawsuits and has 2 potential pending class action lawsuits on the way as well?
Well, this is obviously a long discussion. If you want to talk to me about that, set up an interview. This isn't about me and my business. It's about these 2 guys on Saturday night.
My follow-up, Dana. Earlier this week, the California State Athletic Commission had a hearing about TKO trying to bring those changes to the Ali Act, and it was postponed 3 months.
Listen, I get it. You want to showboat right now. Set up an interview with me if this is really what you want to talk about.
Additionally, even while the fight was going on in the stadium, fans and experts like Luke Thomas did not help but notice the withdrawn demeanor of the promoter, especially towards Turki al-Sheikh. This forced people to wonder whether Dana possibly could have been regretting involving himself in a failing business, or whether he was rethinking his choice of staying in the boxing world for the years to come.
His Excellency Turki al-Sheikh alongside Dana White, who has made his way inside Allegiant Stadium. Mr. Beast has joined us.
Luke even jabbed sarcastically at Dana by tweeting, Dana seems thrilled to be sitting there. Even while the pre-fight press conference was reaching its conclusion, the audience could not help but notice a sudden tension between Dana and Turki Al-Sheikh. Specifically, when Turki suddenly announced a surprise that Dana had to share with the people, Dana cut Turki off and moved on to concluding the event, giving a rather blunt impression to everyone watching and further solidifying the rumors that something was up.
There is big surprise from Dana White. He will announce it now.
Thanks for coming out tonight, everybody. We appreciate it. We're going to face these guys off for photo ops. We'll see you at the weigh-ins.
Besides the issue surrounding Dana White, another huge question was raised after the fight's end, which was the future of the fighters. According to Roy Jones Jr., Terence Crawford has already achieved the greatness he was destined for, having earned his place as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the boxing world. As per Roy, all that's left for the victor is to retire and enjoy the accolades he has achieved.
A very smart fight. Took the fight in the middle, let Canelo get off his steam early, came in the later rounds and just outboxed him for a very smart fight. Didn't stand in the middle for him, made him use the ring like Canelo doesn't like to do. He took the Erislandy blueprint and used it very well.
How surprised were you with Crawford's performance? Was you surprised?
Not surprised at all. Not surprised at all. If you look at Erislandy, you notice Bud never turned right-handed the whole fight because he knew Erislandy gave him most trouble because you used the ring on him as a southpaw.
How special is Terence Crawford as a fighter? First person to be three-way undisputed.
Terence is very special. He definitely goes in the top 10, maybe even the top 5 of the best pound-for-pound ever.
Do you think, is there anything more for him now, would you say?
Nothing else left for him. That was it. He can call it a day now if he wants to.
Thank you, Roy.
Moreover, even Abel Sanchez had similar thoughts about the future of Terence Crawford, claiming that while Canelo still has a few fights lined up already in his career, Terence should just retire already and enjoy the rest of the time with his family, since there is no more stepping up from here. According to Abel, there is no other fighter who can challenge Terence Crawford or further solidify his legacy, so there is no point in him fighting.
For Canelo, I'd like to see that fight that has been talked about, just because I think Canelo took a step down now. Now he can't really be the one that dictates as much as he was before. For Terence, after that virtuoso performance, I would love for him to retire and enjoy his family. I don't think he can do anything else that's going to top this.
Right off into the sunset. And,
yeah, man. Listen, he fought a great fight. No, there's nobody out there that can give him that kind of step up for his legacy. His legacy is cemented. Who's gonna give him that kind of going out like he did last night? You know, in front of 70,000 people, he fought a virtuoso fight.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Furthermore, Fernando Vargas Sr. claimed that while he always knew Terence Crawford was a commendable fighter, he never foresaw the win coming. According to him, Terence Crawford is now the face of boxing. There's no going up from there. Meanwhile, he also noted the fact that Terence made all his critics and haters eat their words with this fight, proving just how great he is.
Let me just tell you this, I thought that Crawford was going to have success early, but I just thought that the weight was going to be too much. It definitely wasn't. Yeah, it definitely wasn't. I ate my words up, you know what I mean? But
what do you think happens next for both Canelo and Crawford?
I think that, man.
You got it.
Bud, I always knew that Bud was a great fighter. He can work both guards, the orthodox and southpaw. Amazing talent. Just beat the face of boxing.
Additionally, Robert Garcia made some interesting observations about the possibilities of what the fighters could do ahead. According to him, if Terence and Canelo go for a rematch after Canelo works on his weaknesses, it would shake the boxing world. However, even if Terence retires after this, Robert claimed that he would be happy with that as well. Meanwhile, Garcia thinks Canelo has yet to use his career to the fullest, so retirement is not an option for him.
Look, I think a rematch would be fucking good for Crawford to just beat him again and do the same thing if Canelo doesn't have any changes. If he doesn't, he needs to do a lot of changes. Canelo needs to do a lot of changes. I think a rematch would fucking do triple the money that he did in this fight and then retire. But I would be so happy to hear he retires as a 3-time undisputed, what is it, like 4 or 5 division champion. I think he would be one of the greatest of all time if he retired today.
Now, for Canelo, do you think he should retire after this fight or keep going?
Well, Canelo, if he wants to continue making money, then he could still go make a lot of money because there's a lot of money out there. He's got the support from Mexicans. You know, he fills out arenas. He's done so much. He could still do it again, but he needs to make some changes. 100%. If he continues doing the same thing, then I shouldn't fight anymore.
On the other hand, Crawford's coach, Bomac, had his own take on what the fighter should do after his win. According to him, Terence deserves a long vacation and rest time with his family since he has been training for the fight for half a year now. However, Bomac hinted at the fact that Terence would rejoin the gym and assess his options from there on out. When told the Turkey had pointed towards a potential Crawford versus Benevitas fight, Bomac outright refused that possibility.
We're going to get back in the gym. And we're going to assess that. And, you know, right now I just want him to go on vacation, have some fun, spend time with his family, man, because we trained for like probably a half a year for that fight. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of time spent away from home, a lot of time spent away from the family. So I just want him to just go get back home.
Turkey just posted that this morning, wondering if Benevitas can make 168. Maybe he has plans or ideas of maybe trying to match up Benevitas and Terence Crawford.
No,
there.
No, I ain't doing that fight.
Maybe planning on vacating the belts?
No, we ain't gonna vacate the belts. You know, we just gonna sit where we need to sit for a minute, and then, just like I said, get back in the gym and do our thing.
Similarly, even Greg Hackett commented on the fact that Terence Crawford has reached a point in his career where he does not need the fight between him and Benevitas. According to Greg, that fight would be pointless since Bud has already set up a monument in his career that he cannot recreate. And even Benevitas is not at the point in his career where this fight would make any sense for him.
It's like, all right, you jumped over one bridge, or you jumped, like you cleared one bridge, all right, let's see if you can clear. It's like the Evel Knievel effect. Like, all right, you jumped over 3 buses. Let's see if you can do 10 buses. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to test his limits. And they think the money is going to keep getting him out there. That fight is pointless. The fight is pointless because nobody ever talked about that fight until now. And then I don't feel like Bud needs a Benevitas. And then that would mean Benevitas would have to go into a different body and bring himself back down to 68 when he's already getting settled in at 175. And, you know, I believe Benevitas has some tough tasks in front of him that he want to conquer before he even...
Furthermore, Andre Ward also commented on Terence Crawford's future as a fighter, claiming that for now, the boxer has nothing more left to accomplish. There is nothing else to continue boxing for. According to Andre, a boxer fights for 3 things: to make money, to gain a legacy, and to improve himself overall as a boxer. Terence Crawford has achieved all of that and more, leaving no room for another fight.
I'd like to see him be done. What are we boxing for at this point? What else is there to do? There's always going to be a YouTuber or a reporter or somebody conjuring up another challenge. We box to get ourselves in a better financial position, to build a name and a legacy. Those boxes are checked. What else are we doing? Why are we still in the game?
Moreover, John Ryder claimed that Terence Crawford not only earned a well-deserved victory, but he also changed the script as to how the boxing world operates. According to John, there is a reason for weight classes to exist, but the fact that Terence was able to climb up 2 weight classes and still prosper says a lot about his prowess. Now Terence has earned the right to retire and relax with his family, having earned his legacy.
He always said something in his favour on them fights, and that's the sport of boxing. That's not a Mayweather thing. It's a boxing thing. But Terence Crawford has gone in there being the underdog in this fight against the boxing superstar, the money man in the sport now, and he's gone up there, ripped up the script. He wasn't meant to do that. There's weights in boxing for a reason, and he's gone in there and he's completely ripped up the script and come away champion now. And I mean, people are immediate aftermath of the reaction. Max Kellerman's asking, will Crawford retire? Will Canelo retire? And it's like, Crawford could walk off into the sunset now and just live his life as an absolute legend. And I think you would have to put him up there with Mayweather for sure.
Interestingly, Okoye had a different perspective about the entire fight, giving the statement that Terence Crawford fought the wrong fight yet still won. According to Okoye, if Terence had come in front of him and told him that he was planning on engaging with exchanges with a man of a bigger size than him, everyone would have called him crazy. However, that is what makes this win so legendary.
Crawford, to me, and people won't think that I'm right when I say this because it sounds wrong, right? Crawford fought the wrong fight and won, in my opinion. And the reason I say wrong fight is, you know, obviously he looked like he dominated the majority of the fight. But if you told me that your strategy as a smaller man, a quote-unquote smaller man, is to, you know, box in the early rounds and then stand right in front of the guy and exchange and win those exchanges, if he told me that that's what he was planning on doing, and I would say, you're going to stand right in front of Canelo and exchange with him and think you're going to win those exchanges, I would say don't do that. You know, obviously, for obvious reasons. When you knock out a guy like Kovalev, you knock out guys like James Kirkland, you knocked out guys like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just keep going with Canelo's knockouts. Billy Joe Saunders, he broke his face. So when you look at Canelo's size, I would recommend that you don't stand in front of a guy that seems to be the bigger, stronger puncher.
Additionally, Dan Rafael claimed that while he's a massive Canelo Alvarez fan, there is no denying the fact that the boxer has been on a decline for the past few years. His knockouts, punches, strength, and overall speed have proven to be declining as the number of matches he plays exceeds. According to Dan, Terence has been in half the number of rounds as Canelo is, claiming that this was one of the major factors why the Mexican fighter couldn't take the win.
And this is not a disrespect to Canelo, because everybody who has ever read me, followed me, listened to me knows I love Canelo. I think he's one of the greats of all time. I think you can make a really good argument that he's the greatest Mexican of all time, even more than Chavez. That said, he is in decline. He's been in decline for the last few years. He hasn't been what we've seen him at his best since he beat Caleb Plant. You know, that Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders time frame. And, you know, even though he's winning fights, you know, the knockouts haven't happened. He's gotten tired in the later part of the fights. And it's just common, it's you know, it's the oldest saying in boxing, Father Time is undefeated. This is a man who has now 532 professional rounds. He may be younger in terms of his age at 35 compared to Terence Crawford at age 37. But Terence Crawford, you know, going into this fight at 245 rounds, now he's at, what, 257? He's got basically half the number of rounds that Canelo does.
In the end, no matter what anyone says, Terence Crawford has proven himself to be the ultimate victor of the challenge that was presented to him, despite the hate and the critics. This fight would definitely go down in history as one of the most legendary fights. What are your opinions on this? Do you believe that Dana would step away from the boxing industry and focus on UFC? Or is Dana White bold enough to take a new challenge and rekindle the spark of the boxing world? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you can stay updated on the latest updates. See you soon!